Assistant Director of Financial Aid, and today we are going to present and help you understand a little bit about financial aid. And our first slide here is very important, where we try to explain to you, the student, why attend college. And if you look at this slide right now, it's pointing out unemployment, and also it's pointing out the earning that you will have depending on the degree that you hold. So if you look at your associate degree, unemployment rate is at 2.7 compared to if you didn't hold a high school diploma, which is 5.4. And when you look at the earning, once you're done with your associate degree, you will be earning 887 versus if you did not have a high school diploma, you will be earning 592. And so what I tell students when we look at this chart is the importance of the education, because you're working very hard, but at the end it's going to pay off for you. So when we talk about financial aid, why we encourage you to complete the financial aid is because it helps you pay your bill. The cost of the college should not hold you back from applying. So we tell students there's tons of money out there that is available to you. Financial aid helps you bridge that gap between the cost of the college and what a family can afford. Financial aid includes federal, state money, and there's also money from our institution when it comes to scholarships, and there's also private scholarships available to you through other companies. How do I pay for college? So this is where the financial aid comes in, and it's through loans, grants, scholarships, work study, educational benefits. And we also have most colleges here at Mount Wachusett Community College, we have what is called payment plans, and that helps you break down those payments so it's easier for you to pay your education. So here are a little bit more of the breakdown. So when we talk about the grants, the scholarship, the education benefits, this is what we call gift aid. And we call it gift aid because you don't have to pay it back. So grants is basically the Pell Grant. Scholarship, it could be scholarship from any source. Even if I tell students if they work for Market Basket, I have seen some scholarship for students for $1,000. When we talk about educational benefits, some of the benefits that we talked about is the veterans or foster grants for students who are in foster care. There's actually quite a bit of money there if the student is under foster grant. And of course, they have to look at those qualifications. When we talk about loans is a kind of aid that is available to the student, but it's something that you have to pay back, and you have to pay it back with interest. And those loans are the subsidized, unsubsidized, parent plus loans, and the private loans. We always encourage students, or at least I encourage students that if they don't have, if their expected family contribution is too high that they need to do loans, please do so, because that's what is there available to you. So if you get a subsidized loan, you know that you don't have to pay interest on that loan until you're done school. Or if you drop down to less than half time, then that's when you would have 6 months later, you would have to start paying the interest. But while you're a student and you are maintaining 6 or more credits, you don't have to pay that interest. The government pays it for you. Work study. So work study is money that you earn while you're working. So as a student, I am now in charge of this program here on financial aid. And if you're looking for a job, there is a work study application that you complete. And we have that available to you long as you have a need. Applying for need-based, and this is our FAFSA. So for the FAFSA, we always try to tell students this is a free application. So when you log in, you want to make sure you're going to FAFSA.edu. And if you happen to go into a website that is asking you to pay any fee, then you are in the wrong website. There should be no money asked from you when you log in to apply for your free application for federal student aid. So there are scams out there, so be careful where you go. So the FAFSA is used to calculate your expected family contribution. So usually when you call our office, we're going to say EFC. If you don't understand what that means, please ask us what it means, because that's the expected family contribution. It's just we're so used to using EFC that we tend to forget that the student not all the time understand what EFC means, but that's your expected family contribution. So this is where the website, when you are going into the website, this is what it's going to look like. So if you are a new student, you're going to start here. If you are a returning student, you're going to go right in here. Okay, so the one things that we tell students, there is an FSA ID that you need to create. If you are a dependent student, your parent, one of your parents need to create that FSA ID. Things that you should have available with you when completing the FAFSA is your 1040. If you're a dependent, your parents' 1040. You want to make sure you have your social security card with you, because a lot of times students think that they know their number, and that's one of the errors that happen, that if you put a wrong number from your social security, it's not going to go through correctly. And the other thing is the name. You want to make sure that the name that you're using is exactly how it's on your social security card. You also want, if you're married or if you are a dependent student and your parents are married, divorced, separated, you want to make sure you have that information and you have their dates. And they will ask for additional income information. So if your parents are receiving child support, or if you as a student, you're receiving child support, you want to make sure you have that information available. So the FAFSA application opens up October 1st. For the state application deadline, that's May 1st. Right now, because COVID, they pushed that to July 1st. So the current year they're in, we are using the deadline on July 1st. But the state application deadline is usually May 1st. Right now, the federal government uses what we call prior year for your taxes. So if you were to complete your 2021, which is the current year that we're in, you need 2018 taxes. For 21-22, you need 2019 taxes. And again, that is already open to the student. What we're finding, that students that are new, trying to register for cycle 2 in the spring, they're calling us and saying that their FAFSA is completed. And when we check, they have completed the FAFSA, but the one that they completed was 2021, 2022 versus the 2021. So just bear that in mind when new students are coming in to register and they are trying to complete their FAFSA. Right now it's defaulted to 2021, 2022. They want to make sure that they're in 2020, 2021. So this one is very important. If I was live, I usually do a game with the student on this one, because this one becomes confusing, not so much for the students, but also for the staff at times. So financial aid can only pay for a course after you pass the course one more time. So let's say if you took the course and you had a W, you could take it again. And that second time you took the course, now you got a D- and you want to take it again, you can, but after that, you cannot. So you're only allowed to repeat that course one more time for financial aid to pay. After that, you would have to pay out of pocket. So if it's a W or an F, it's infinitive. You could take it at any time. The only thing you have to keep in mind that it will affect your satisfactory academic progress, which we define that here as SAP. Pell Grant is available to the student for 12 full-time semesters for your whole entire life. So if you have been a student here back in, I don't know, 2017, and now you're coming back again, you want to make sure that you understand that whatever you took out for Pell, that's carrying forward to you, with you. So, and the same thing is with loans, there's also a limit. So if you're looking for loans and you know you have borrowed enough loans, you want to make sure that if you're looking for subsidized loan, there is a limit also on the subsidized loans. So good standing. So this is the academic standing. And this is what we call here SAP, Student Academic Progress. And there are 3 categories. There is the 67% completion rate. And this is if you are a full-time student and you decide that you need to drop a class because you cannot handle the workload, or because you feel that you really are not making it in a class and you want to drop it. If you're a full-time student, and think of this as a pie. So if you drop a class, so each pie is 25% or $1, right? When we think of $1, if you break it in 4, you remove 1, you stay at 75%. So you're okay if you're a full-time student. But if you are a 3/4 time student, you really want to pause and think about it before you drop that course. Because when you break that pie, that is now you have 3/4, and you remove one of those pies out, you are going to be at 66%. That means that now that's going to affect your pace. So you have to be very careful when making those decisions. Not so much the first semester, but your second semester, because that could place you in suspension. You have to maintain a 2.0, which is a C or better. You know that if you are looking to get into the nursing program, you should at least keep a C+ or better. And then we have the 150% time frame. And this one is based on your program. So if you are in the degree program, you are allowed, let's say 60 credits. If your program is 60 credits, you are allowed to go up to 89 credits without getting into the 150%. Once you reach that 90 credits, you could be in warning. So your first semester, you will be in warning. The second semester, you will be suspended for 150%. So those are the 3 categories to keep in mind, where if you do not follow the rules, you can end up in warnings, or the second semester you could be suspended. But as a student, you can always appeal depending where you're at. So scholarships. So there's a lot of scholarships out there for students. So we tell students to apply for scholarship. I know that even TRIO has scholarships. So we encourage students to do that. That helps you with your cost of the college. There is what we call the merit scholarship or academic. So academic, depending on the institution. If you are maintaining a good GPA, there are scholarships out there for the academic. And then there's your merit scholarship, which is based, let's say, athletic. And I've seen other unusual scholarships, just like we see it here, someone who's left-handed. For Mount Wachusett Community College, we know that we have a scholarship available to the students. So if you go into iConnect, you can see the symbol. That is our award spring scholarship that is available to the student. I will also recommend you to go to MIFA.org or the FAFSAweb.com. They have good scholarships available to the student out there. And MIFA has its own like its own app for scholarships. So once you have your information there, they will send you information on what scholarships you could qualify for. Just keep in mind that there are deadlines based for scholarships, so you want to make sure you're keeping an eye on that. I tell students, you know, one of their questions is, when can I apply for scholarships? The sooner the better. So if you're researching, you want to make sure you're keeping an eye on that deadline. And some scholarships require for you to write an essay, get a reference letter, or even provide a resume. Just like the FAFSA, we tell students to be careful with scholarship scams. If you are trying to apply for a scholarship and they're asking you for a fee, then you don't want to do that scholarship, because you should not be paying more than a postage. In today's life, you shouldn't even pay a postage, right? You can do it right online and get that scholarship out there. But I do encourage you to apply for the scholarship. Even if you feel you don't qualify, just apply for that scholarship, because you don't know whether they will give it to you, because usually they have like a number of students that qualify for that scholarship. And if those students are not applying, but they need to spend that money, they might give it to you. So take advantage of that. And that's what we have. Any questions?